ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the first video of episode 102. That's right, I welcomed you back to something that you weren't even at to begin with.
But you are now.
Figure that out. That means watch it twice.
So what are we talking about in this first video?
We are recapping Extreme Rules.
Yeah, it was a good show.
It ruled extremely. I don't think it warranted that loud of a laugh, but yeah. So, Jesus Christ, that's a Vince McMahon status fake laugh. Yeah, let's go. Just dive into it, I guess. Starting at the pre-show, we had the no disqualification match versus between Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. It was all right.
Yeah, it was.
It was a good match.
Yeah, I would have liked at least one weapon to have been involved.
Yeah, I think they just didn't want it to play too much out because they were going to have the Asylum match and the Extreme Rules main event.
Yeah, but I think the story that they went with and what they decided to use the no disqualification rule for worked very well to the match.
Yeah.
Because Dolph Ziggler was on a pretty good run against Baron Corbin for most of it, and at the end he tried to go for a super kick. Corbin dodged out of the way and
pulverized the plums in his fruit basket.
Low blow to end all low blows, and then followed that up with the end of days, and Baron Corbin picked up the win. So yeah, good use of the no disqualification at the end. I would have liked a little bit more, but the match was good. There
needed to be something in the middle that wasn't not even necessarily a weapon, but
for me, all I needed was like a lot of outside action. If they would have used the no count out situation, if they just would have fought on the outside a little bit, I would have been okay with that.
They tried to hit it with them trying to attempt to get Dolph Ziggler's arms tied up in the ropes.
Yeah.
But since that didn't actually work,
yeah, because
I think it fell short.
Yeah, Kalisto and AJ on the rest of the card, so you couldn't do that.
The ropes were way too tight.
But a good moment for Baron Corbin, though.
Yeah.
Good win.
Let's just hope that this feud doesn't continue on Raw.
Yeah, God. This needs to be it. Let's just finish it there.
Finish it. So, moving on to the main card, we opened up with the Tornado Tag Team match, which was also apparently no disqualification, between the Club versus the Usos.
Yes.
The Usos. I can't say anything that I haven't already said.
Yeah, we've literally seen this match like 6 times since even before Payback. Like, since Gallows and Anderson made their debut, we've seen this match at least a half dozen times.
Yeah, I mean, it was just...
There was nothing wrong with it.
A lot of the, same feel, that's what I appreciate, is, like, how good they play off the animosity between the two teams, and how, you feel like there's a real feud. Yeah, no,
it always feels like they are just out to destroy each other.
Yeah, the one thing that set the match out for me was that it was Jay took the Boot of Doom on the outside into the guardrail.
Oh, yeah.
Which was pretty cool. And then I guess, Gallows had a pretty clever use for the ring bell.
Yeah, no, and that was... It was a very creative end. I appreciated the end a lot because with Jay being out after the Boot of Doom and being dumped over into the Timekeeper's table, Anderson's down too. So it's just Gallows and Jimmy at this point. Gallows grabs the bell and he's yelling at Anderson to get up. So he goes in and tries to use the bell. He gets super kicked. Jimmy goes up and goes for the Superfly Splash, but Gallows moves, so he splashes the ring bell Then that's Anderson's cue to get back in the ring. They hit the Magic Killer on Jimmy, and the club picks up the win.
Yeah, good pay-per-view win for the club.
Yes.
One of the things I liked on the commentary of that match, though, is JBL was talking about the fact that, for a long time, this could have only been considered a dream match.
Yeah.
Because you're talking one of the top tag teams of this era in WWE versus who were like the top heavyweight tag team in Japan.
Yeah, like three-time IWGP heavyweight tag team champions. So yeah, it's a big deal as far as tag team wrestling is concerned.
Yeah, so it was cool to see.
Yeah.
But again, sort of how I feel with Ziggler and Corbin is I could do with a break from the Bullet Club versus Usos.
Yeah, that's
happening.
Stop it there.
Speaking of break, we're gonna have the United States title on the line as. Can we say that Rusev broke his back and made him humble?
Yeah, because this was. It's unfortunate for Kalisto because he didn't exactly get to make a real name for himself as champion. Having only, in the time that he held the title, maybe one or two, standout matches. But this was... I do like the fact that Rusev is getting a push.
Yeah.
I think out of the three... okay, if you want to include Wade Barrett, out of the four members of the League of Nations, I feel like he is the one most deserved of this push. Just because I don't really give a shit about Del Rio, and Sheamus has been around for a while. We've seen Sheamus do stuff, so I don't need to see him do a ton of shit. But watching Rusev be dominant in this match was good to see that he's kind of back to where WWE trusts him to be.
Yeah, I honestly would not mind to see him go back to, a guy who's on that super difficult to beat list.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was.
At least for a little while, not nearly as long.
Yeah.
Give him some sparing losses here and there, but yeah, give him a nice dominant run. And it starts off with a good moment here because he damn near folded Kalisto in half with that accolade.
Yeah.
And Kalisto didn't have any other option other than tap out, and it was a weird end too because there was Kalisto was on the top rope and then got slammed onto the apron.
Yeah.
And we had the referee and the doctor checking on Kalisto to make sure if he could continue. And the sign that Kalisto was okay was that he crawled his way back to the middle of the ring. And then Rusev stomped on him once. The ref's like, "No, you need to back it up." And
yeah,
Rusev's
the ref was really trying to maybe give Kalisto a breather, or maybe even give Kalisto the opportunity to just say that he was unable to continue.
I don't know.
In that matter of fact, if the referee would have deemed Kalisto unable to continue, Rusev would have been the champion anyways.
Yeah, regardless, Rusev is the U.S. champion. I think Kalisto was okay. I think this was playing off of what happened last week on Raw.
No, absolutely.
Playing up that back injury.
The fact that he on SmackDown.
It gave Rusev an even more aggressive edge, which is good.
Yeah.
Trying to reestablish just how dominant Rusev can be. And that part in particular was great. The match itself was good. There wasn't really anything that stood out in the match itself. It was a very technically sound match. They worked together really well, but it was mostly just Rusev dominating.
Yeah, the one thing I like that I can say about the whole pay-per-view in general is there weren't really any fuck-ups.
No, it was all the matches were solid.
Yeah.
I have some issues with how things went just because, there's some weird stuff in there. But the matches themselves, there wasn't any oh, well, that didn't quite work out. Everything kind of worked out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah. Then we had the Tag Team Championships on the line as the New Day being represented by Big E and Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
Someone who I will go out and say that I don't think he gets nearly enough ring time.
Yes.
Defend against the Vaudevillains and their new coats.
Yeah, they had ascots and shit.
Haberdashery, top hat.
This was a good match. This was another one of those where there wasn't really anything that stood out to me.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like cut and dry. Here's a tag team title match. Vaudevillains held their own, which was good. They had a strong showing. They're starting to. We did kind of see the phase out of the Whirling Dervish.
Yeah.
Especially with the fact that they hit two really big double team moves, the Go Home Show 2 Extreme Rules. So it's nice to see them kind of changing things up, making it a bit more aggressive, much more heel. But yeah, I think they had a strong showing. But obviously, WWE really sees a lot in keeping the New Day champions.
Yeah, and the one thing I liked is they had like a lot of moments where someone was trying to accomplish something and they didn't get it, and then eventually they would get to it later.
Yes.
Because I really liked, like, the standout moment for me was Big E was going for his through the ropes spear to the outside on Aiden English, and the first time he went for it, Aiden English got his knee up and kneed Big E in the head.
Right.
And then it was only like a minute and a half later, Aiden English was on the outside on the opposite side of the ring, and Big E came from the other side and ended up hitting that spear.
Yeah. Which ultimately ended up leading to the end, because while the referee was distracted with all of that, Simon Gotch ended up getting an NXT Enziguri kick from Kofi, which knocked him down, and Xavier Woods hit a Shining Wizard, and Xavier Woods not only defended the titles, but won the match himself.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, because we don't see Xavier Woods get pinfalls very often. He
No,
doesn't wrestle a lot.
Yeah. For being like a super funny guy and super entertaining, he needs more in-ring time.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand because there's 3 guys, and only 2 guys can be in a tag team match.
Right.
But it makes me want to say, let's throw Xavier Wood a bone and like put him in a singles match somewhere on the
I think the thing is he's really established himself as the mouthpiece, as the hype man on the outside. He does that so well.
Yeah.
That taking that out of the match, it's not gonna detour the New Day at all. It's just it might feel like it's lacking something if you don't have Xavier Woods out there being able to talk trash and play the trombone and do all those things that he does throughout the match.
Yeah.
So, but it was nice to see him wrestle. Nice to see him get a win. New Day remain the tag team champions.
Hell to the yes.
Then things picked up.
Things were going at a really nice, steady pace. And then it got fever pitch with the 4-corner Intercontinental Championship match.
It got fucking real with this match.
And when I say it got to a fever pitch, I mean it went from 0 to 60 because right at the opening bell, Sami Zayn sprinted across the ring and gave Kevin Owens a haluva kick that knocked him out for like the first 5 minutes of the match. And
then Cesaro followed up with a big old European uppercut on Miz, which left him and Sami Zayn to start the match.
Yeah, and they put on a clinic to begin the match.
And it was so the transition, like you got Cesaro and Sami Zayn doing their thing. They get to a point, maybe there's a pinfall, and then automatically Miz is back in, breaks up the pin. Then Miz is involved in something. Miz goes for a pin. It gets broken up, and it clicked so freaking well. And all 4 of these guys killed it in this match.
Yeah, no, they had borderline impeccable chemistry.
Miz hitting the capture suplex on Zayn while getting the German from Cesaro.
Yeah, a lot of great, 3-person, 4-person involved spots. They did a Tower of Doom spot.
Yeah, they were trying for a 3-person Tower of Doom, and Kevin Owens stopped it, and then Kevin Owens actually ended up being
That's
involved.
the punishment for stopping the Tower of Doom. You have to be the guy who takes the Tower of Doom later.
Yeah, he ended up getting the double superplex while Cesaro powerbombed Miz and Sami Zayn, and it was just such good chemistry from all four of these guys. This is the best stuff the Miz has done in a long time, and he's got 3 amazing athletes that he gets to play off of. So it's just, you can't go wrong here. And all 4 of them, hats off to these 4 guys because they did amazing.
Yeah, I kind of enjoy it, and I feel like it benefits the Miz because I feel like the Owens and Cesaro and Zayn bringing the more independent style to it is a challenge for the Miz.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what happens with the Miz is like when he's in his down moments is because there's nothing challenging him. Like Miz did all of his best work leading up to when he won the championship.
Mm-hmm.
And then after he won the championship, he became so arbitrary to the show that like when he main evented WrestleMania against Cena, the main storyline was like the animosity between Cena and The Rock, who was hosting WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like The Miz was the afterthought of the championship match where he was defending the belt.
Yeah.
You know, so like he won the belt, which was great, but then he like really just started to kind of coast and decline. Like he hit a big plateau, and then, you know, it kind of stayed that way for a long time, and then it picked back up with the Mizdow thing.
Yeah.
And then when that split up, he kind of plateaued again.
Yeah.
And now getting him involved with all these guys who wrestle that fast pace and, you know, more physical style seems to really kind of amp him up a little bit.
Yeah. I think another thing that really adds, like, what's good for the Miz in this spot is he doesn't have that indie background like the other 3 guys have.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know that style. But I think wrestling the WWE style really adds to his heel persona. So you've got these 3 guys that the crowd loves, regardless of how hard Owens tries. The crowd loves Owens. So you have these 3 guys just firing on all cylinders, going fast pace, reversing everything, super kicks all over the place, and then you get Miz who comes in with not necessarily he's got his style is so much more different. And I don't think that people are like, oh, look how good the Miz is. It's just Miz comes in and uses he's got his own look and feel as opposed to these indie guys, and I think that really plays well for him.
Yep, and that's the most praises I'm going to sing of the Miz because I'm starting to feel nauseous.
I don't mind the Miz.
I don't know what I'm going to be.
I don't mind the Miz.
Yeah, so Miz ended up winning because Cesaro took everyone's finisher during the match. He took the skull-crushing finale, he got the pop-up powerbomb, and then he got the haluva kick, maybe twice even, at least once, but he took all those moves. He ended up with taking Sami Zayn's haluva kick.
Yeah.
But Owens pulled Sami Zayn out of the ring while he's trying to pin Cesaro. That just kind of lit a fire in Sami Zayn's rage eyeballs. And
his rage balls.
And he rage-balled all over Kevin Owens while The Miz just kind of got to sneak in and pin Cesaro.
Yeah. So, a sneaky heel win just because the animosity between Zayn and Owens is still so high. Cesaro, there was nothing Cesaro could do. He got everybody's finisher and he got the shit kicked out of him for the last quarter of this match. So, fucking awesome job, you guys. Everyone stood out in this match.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good on ya, mates.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
What about the Asylum match between Dean Ambrosia Salad versus Chris Jericho?
Not gonna lie, heading into this match, I was like, okay, cool. It's a new type of match. There's, weapons involved with a cage. It's a little new, but I wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary as far as Extreme Rules matches go in WWE. And especially especially after seeing Ambrose get hyped up to be this extreme guy and then getting crushed by Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is gonna be cool, but it's not something that's gonna stick around. But now, I think there's a good chance we will see more Asylum matches. Because I think this went above and beyond what anybody thought was gonna happen.
Yeah, it did, and I think it's probably just gonna stick to it being a Dean Ambrose exclusive. I would imagine.
You think so?
Yeah. But it was fun. It was definitely the slowest paced match of the night.
Yeah.
They took their time, which was okay because it seemed like there was a lot of time for them to take.
Well, and
it made sense.
It works for Jericho. When Jericho's a heel, he's very methodic in the way he goes about his matches.
Yeah, but they used everything that was hanging above the cage except for Mitch Jr.
Yep, Mitch
So
Jr.
he survived.
Yeah. Survives to pass on the legend of his father, Mitch Sr. Rest in peace.
The Jericho getting whipped in the face with the leather strap.
Ow! Jericho got fucked up in this match.
Yeah.
Like, Ambrose took a couple of good shots, but Jericho, I don't know if this was his intention going in, but he swung for the fences as far as how much damage can I get done to myself.
Yeah, no, and I was feeling this way about Jericho because, like, leading up to WrestleMania, I was just like, okay, Jericho's just coming in to pad the card because they had so many injured people.
Right.
And then I was like, he stayed around after Mania and started a new feud, and I was like, okay, Jericho seems like he's not even there just to pad the card anymore. He's, like, trying to get back into the swing of things and trying to be Chris Jericho, the all-around best wrestler.
Yeah. Was he in the Rumble? Yeah, he was in the Rumble.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure, starting with the Rumble, he's been at every pay-per-view this year. So yeah, he's on a 5-month, almost 6-month run. So good for you, Jericho. And he kicked ass.
Yeah.
You and Ambrose did good in what a lot of people just expected to be a cage match with a few little toys, because there were some surprises.
Yeah, I like a lot of people online actually noted that Jericho was wearing the same attire he wore for when he went against CM Punk in a street fight.
Oh. Cool.
Minus the scarf.
Yeah. Scarf was nothing back then.
But yeah, things did go extreme. Other than Jericho getting leather strapped in the face.
Yeah.
And getting skull fucked with the mop.
Yes. Ambrose got a couple of strikes to the back and the gut with the barbed wire part of the barbed wire board.
Yeah. But it was the bucket that managed to stick around to the very end.
The one thing up there that's like, why?
Oh, because there was a mop. Mops and buckets go together.
But this bucket had a lid. This was like a paint bucket.
Yeah, it was. It was like a big 5-gallon paint bucket. But it didn't have paint in it.
No.
It didn't have mop water in it.
No, it did not.
It had thumbtacks.
Goddamn right it did.
Hundreds of shiny, glimmery, hardcore, blingy thumbtacks.
And in my head, I'm going, okay, there's no way this is going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to get put out, and they did a great job constantly teasing what was going to happen in
once Jericho got over his phase of, I'm going to stand here in the corner and look terrified.
Which was the funniest fucking face he made in the entire match.
Yeah, they went tease after tease because all it did is they went next to the thumbtacks and they did about 14 different counters.
Yeah, and it was just setting up different types of moves, trying to set up for a backdrop, and then trying to set up for the dirty deeds, and then trying to. I think Jericho tried to scoop slam Ambrose, and he slid off of his back, and just all these different things, like what was going to happen. And then it got to a point they teased it so much. I was like, oh, okay, it's fanfare. They're like, we'll bring out the thumbtacks, we'll just leave them there.
Yeah, it's like when the Dudley Boys brought out the fucking lighter fluid for the table.
Yeah, and nothing happened. It's like, oh, okay, it's there. Like, oh, guess what we're gonna do? We're not gonna use the thumbtacks. Boy, were we wrong.
Yeah, because Jericho goes for a code breaker to try and end the match, and Dean Ambrose caught him, and then carried him over to the tacks, and then dropped him into them.
Yeah, back, elbow, were we right in saying that was Jericho's first interaction with thumbtacks?
As far as I know, because Jericho's never really been a hardcore gimmick match type person.
If you know of a match that Jericho was in, like actually took a thumbtack spot, post it down in the comments. We'd be interested to know about that. But yeah, he took it full on, and that set up Dean Ambrose to hit a Dirty Deeds into the pile once again. And he had all that thumbtack in his elbow. And Dean Ambrose picked up the win. And then Jericho walked away a bloody, bruised, and sad-looking mess.
Yes.
And a good win for Ambrose. Ambrose got to be hardcore, and we got to believe it. He didn't get squished.
So we got the Asylum match. Jericho tested fully approved.
Yes.
Which is cool. The one thing I appreciate is when you see Jericho in a match like a street fight or this Extreme Rules style thing with thumbtacks and barbed wire and whatnot. It's really out of Jericho's element.
Yeah. Because it's been a while since he's done stuff.
It's not what he does.
Unless it's a ladder match, it's not something Jericho does.
Yeah, he does technical wrestling.
Yeah,
is Jericho's style. So seeing him get into this element and remembering, oh yeah, Jericho can hang when it comes to the tough brawling stuff with weapons and whatnot.
Right.
It's fun because we've seen him do it before, and he does it on such sparing occasions that it makes it more special when Jericho does it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like back in the day, you would always expect, Al Snow and Hardcore Holly and, all of them to be doing their hardcore matches.
Right.
But then, when somebody like a Kurt Angle or Jericho gets put into a no DQ match, it's kind of like this is cool because this isn't what they normally do.
It changes the atmosphere of that match type for that time being.
Yeah. And then we had the Women's Championship match.
Yes.
I like saying Women's Championship.
Yeah. I liked this match. The technical wrestling was on point. They did a great counter hold bit towards the beginning. They had great chemistry throughout the match. I have a problem with the end.
Yeah.
I don't understand why Dana Brooke.
Me either.
Doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah.
And this isn't even my residual hate for Dana Brooke, because that's not a factor here. I just don't understand why.
All I'm going to say is I'm pretty sure it's just going to be rationalized out as Charlotte needed to find another way to beat Natalya. And it's just going to be more onto the Charlotte can't win on her own story.
Yeah.
But she couldn't have Ric Flair there at ringside.
Right.
So she had to enlist somebody else. And basically, the whole Charlotte winning the championship, she had that spiel on Raw the next night after Mania where she basically alienated herself from every single diva on the roster. Mm. But to that extent, Dana Brooke wasn't on the roster at the time.
That's fair.
So
good point.
I think it could be Charlotte picking on the younger. I don't know if she's younger, but the less experienced, maybe more impressionable Dana Brooke. Now that she's new on the main roster and her her mentor Emma is gone.
Yeah, and I don't know.
It's going to give something. I think it's also something that's just going to give Dana Brooke something to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel the end. Itself just it felt. I don't know. It felt forced to me. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, it was forced.
I think I was hoping for a very definitive win, regardless of who won. I still feel like this, because this happened, Natalya should get another shot.
Yeah.
In my mind, I don't think it's gonna happen, because she's already gotten 2 shots in a row. I wanted something more
final. Yeah,
final, because we already had the screwjob ending last month, and we got another screwjob ending, and it's the match itself was fine though. Yeah, I appreciated the match. Dana Brooke came out dressed as Ric Flair.
Yeah, that was weird,
and that distracted Natalya. And she got put in the figure 8. She tapped out.
Yeah, that was the thing. That's really my only criticism of the whole show, though.
Yeah.
Then we have the championship match, main event, Extreme Rules, Roman Reigns defense against AJ Styles, and they did not disappoint.
Not in the least.
This being so many just rematches from Payback. Was so much of a better show.
Yeah, and I think AJ and Roman, out of all the matches that carried over from Payback, they elevated their feud.
Yes.
And Ambrose and Jericho did, and so did the Intercontinental. The Intercontinental title is kind of a mashup of 2 things, but I feel like as far as a full-fledged storyline that had a lot of really great build, both Styles and Reigns did a great job of elevating what they did in that great match at Payback. And, if Thomas Wolfe was here, he would always say that, an Extreme Rules match is defined by if you took out all of the extreme spots, would the match still be good? And it was. Yeah. And so they took everything that they did last month and then just added more onto it and made it so much more epic. There were so many great false finishes. They did, they fought off through the crowd, which doesn't happen all that often.
Styles went through 2 of the 3 commentary tables.
They fought up onto the kickoff panel table. They did all kinds of great stuff in this match, and it was just a lot of fun to watch. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I wasn't sure who was going to win this.
Yeah, and then we had, as obviously expected, both the club and the Usos ended up getting involved. Mm-hmm. And I just loved the moment that Styles gets the chair and he just goes nuts on all 3 members of the bloodline.
Like, we talk about the animosity in this feud between these 2 groups, and AJ just let fucking loose on all 3 of those guys.
Yeah, and the crowd ate it up.
Yeah. It was a great moment, and it was like at that point, once again, we've had so many moves. Everybody's hitting everything. Both the club and the Usos have tried to roll their respective partner over on the other one to get the win, and nothing has happened. And AJ finally having control with the chair. It's looking like AJ is just seconds away from winning the championship.
Yeah, he hits 2 Styles clashes. He hits one off the chair and one onto the chair. But it ends up being one of the Usos pulls him out of the ring while he's trying to pin Roman Reigns.
Yes.
And then, Styles is like, fuck off. And then gets back in and goes for the pin. And that just, ended up being enough time for Roman Reigns to get his wits about him and able to kick out from that pin.
Yeah.
And then Styles eventually decides, let's go for it. One more attempt at the finisher, goes for the phenomenal forearm, and gets speared out of midair.
One hell of a spear. Like, there was some good impact on that. So that right there, you have a great match. You have a very abrupt, very brutal ending. It was I did not expect what you could consider a clean win in this match. But I think they did a great job building to that moment, and it worked well. It was a valiant effort from AJ. It was a good win for Roman. And so now you have AJ going, okay, well, damn it. I did everything I could. Where do I go from here? And he walked away just really disappointed with himself. And while Roman Reigns, celebrating once again, I think the Usos had already taken off. He was out there by himself. He's champion, still champion. But there's somebody else who stakes a claim for that championship. And it is the one, the only, Seth motherfucking Rollins. Rollins makes his return, spins Roman Reigns around, hits a pedigree, and we go off the air with Seth Rollins holding his championship above his head.
Yeah, talk about exciting. Hell of a pop for Rollins.
The crowd lost their shit.
It was a good moment just because of the fact that the crowd at Newark was very, very anti-Roman Reigns.
Oh, yeah. At the beginning of the match, they were cheering for AJ, and as soon as AJ's music stopped, instant boos. Because they knew what was coming next.
Even like the Usos in their match against the Club got like that residual heat.
Yeah.
Just because they're associated with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
But then having Rollins show up at the very end of the pay-per-view ended on a high note for the audience.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. So, all in all, from beginning to end, they built this pay-per-view very well. Started off with some good, solid matches that didn't necessarily wow the crowd, but kept them invested. And you have.
Yeah, I think all the matches were in the right place.
Yes.
On the card.
Yeah, it was a very well put together show.
Because then the opener, the tag team match, was very non-stop from bell to bell, where they just constantly kept moving in and out of the ring and all over the place. And then you did have like the two matches that didn't have any kind of strange stipulation on them at all. So that kind of like, okay, pow, opener gets the attention, then the crowd gets to sink in for those two matches because their attention has been grabbed.
You got a nice steady pace to keep everyone invested.
And then the four-way match comes up.
Boom.
And everyone gets shot through the roof to the point where it became noticeable that the crowd during like the Asylum match and even the Divas match really only reacted to the high spots and when extreme stuff happened during the Asylum match, because the crowd was just kind of like spent after that match because
so
the whole time the crowd was just so involved during the four-way match.
Yeah, and once again, that really played well because you have the Asylum match where everyone assumes they know what they're going to get, and then you add a little surprise. And then you have the women's match, which is just a great match all the way through. And then you get you get a lot of attention towards the end, like what the fuck just happened. But then you have Styles and Reigns really elevated again. And then you bring it full circle. You bring those two tag teams back out, and you have this huge just clusterfuck. Well, who's gonna beat who in this match? And then everyone feels like, oh great, now we're gonna go off with a Roman Reigns win. Here we go. And then they bring out Seth Rollins. And it just caps it off. A great job by everyone involved. Great writing and placement for WWE in general.
Yeah. I don't do this very often because I am super critical of certain things in WWE, but I give the pay-per-view a solid A.
I give it a B+. I think had I got a definitive win in the women's championship, it easily would have been an A. That's the only thing that's really knocking it down a point for me.
Yeah, to me, I definitely would have maybe even given it an A+ had there been a different finish to that match, but it wasn't enough to deter me because every other match on the card had a solid, this is the end.
Yeah.
This is, definitive winners, no roll-ups and stuff like that.
True.
Throughout the whole thing. You know, everyone got their, the magic killer from the club. Woods hits the Shining Wizard. Everyone had such a solid, thing going on, and the 4-way match was just mind-blowingly good.
Yeah.
That I was okay letting that one slide and still giving it a high score.
Yeah. Overall, great job, WWE. We enjoyed it.
10 out of 10 would watch again.
Yes, absolutely.
I watched 3/4 of it again, actually.
Yes. And so now, we got to go watch Raw and see where they're going next.
Yeah, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And be sure to share the video with your friends. Click all the links down in the description.
So many social media links if you want to talk to us on the Facebook, Twitter machine, or email us.
Yes.
Check out Tumblrs and Instagrams and
check out
podcast.
Check out the other channel also because we got new videos popping up.
Yeah, we got new videos on the Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
Yeah, that's gonna be down there in the description as well. But if you're here for the review type stuff, check out that playlist. Because we've got this Extreme Rules review coming up next is the Raw review. Then we got midweek, and then we got the SmackDown rundown. Then we got the indie news. It's gonna have a shit ton of results.
Yeah,
be prepared for that one.
Ton.
So thanks for watching. We'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
That one.
Yeah. I like that one.
Lana was hot.
Holy God. Fuck Lana.
Please?